What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Wager Alarm live stream. I'm your host, Howard Bender. With me, of course, Craig Mish. It is time to talk about the lines going into NFL Week 14. Before we do that, we always like to kind of give a little recap there of Week 13. Although, Craig, I don't really want to do a recap of Week
I
13.
know.
Like we were 3-0 heading into Monday night. What happened?
Yeah, I was miserable on my TV show on Tuesday. I was not fun. I was not fun to be around. This contest is, and they call it the Super Bowl of sports betting contests. And before we get into some of the data here, because I do want to go through that, because we're deep enough now into the season where we kind of know where we stand and where everybody else stands too. It does show you, for anyone who is out there that just likes to pick games and say that they had this record and say that they had that record and here's how I did and I won this in my pool and that, and you put $5 in, try your luck at this and go against the best people in the country who are, putting up a couple grand to do this. And it may seem like a lot of money, but think about it. It's over the course of the whole season that you're doing it. And Howard and I split that at the beginning of the season, and we've had two really good years back to back, no question. So there are over 1,100 entries in the Westgate Super Contest this year, and it was usually, I think it was about 1,500 last year. They're down about 400, as they should be. There's some people didn't want to take the risk. Truthfully, Howard and I, full transparency, talked about doing the college contest this year. We did not. It probably was a good choice, given the amount of games that were postponed.
Oh
And we would
man,
have
the
been
poor
burning our money.
Nugget.
Yeah, we would have been just burning our money. We wouldn't have won. But that being said, so out of 1,200, Howard and I, and we'll go into the record what we did last week, where we would have been, but we are right there in the top 200. The top 100 finishers cash, and clearly that's what we're attempting to do here. Is we are attempting to cash, be in the top. We'd love to win $1 million, but we're trying to get into the top 100. So as Howard mentioned, we started off last week again 2-0 in the early games, and then in the 4 p.m., 1 p.m. Pacific, 3-0, and then we got to the Monday night games and we lost both again, and really burned me, because now that I look at the contest in 65 games, we are 35 wins and 30 losses. And for those of you who are out there that are thinking, oh, I could do better, or I could do better, there are 32 people in the entire contest above 60%. The entire contest out of over 1,100 people. Consider that. There's only one over 70%. And at the end of the season, he won't be over 70. He'll be below.
Right.
It is difficult. So had we won 4 out of 5, depending on which of our games would have won, we had a chance to be right on the cut line, and that much more. It was Pittsburgh basically that we had on Monday night over Washington. Everybody had San Francisco, so that did not hurt us. But the Washington one really hurt because Pittsburgh was one of the least picked games because of the hook, the 7.5. And had we hit that one, we would have been right there in the top 100. But it's been a good year. I can't complain. We're right on target for where we were last year. Picks were really good last week. Cleveland was a fantastic pick. The other picks are escaping.
Cleveland, Jacksonville was a great pick.
Jacksonville was the least picked team in the Super Contest. It was like one of the least picked teams, and we nailed that one. That was a great pick too. And what was the third?
Third one was God, who was it? It was we took the Rams minus 2.5 over Arizona.
Easy pick for the Rams.
Yeah.
Rams just, I don't know what's going on with the Cardinals, but so that's it. So we had 3 wins, 2 losses. We're 35-30 on the season. This is our live stream where we do the early leans. I want to say that I went back to some of our streams over the last 5 or 6 weeks. More and more of you are watching this. I've noticed that, and there's no secret that when people are picking over 500, you kind of want to see what they're thinking, because maybe you want to tail them and bet some of the same picks. Keep in mind that the lines that we get on Wednesday are never going to be the same that they are on Sunday. So our leans now may change by the time that we get to Saturday night. But I just wanted to say thanks to everybody for watching this, because our watch numbers have gone up, over the last few weeks more than any of the ones that we did last year. So it's pretty cool.
Fantastic. Love that. Thank you, everybody out there. All right, Craig. Well, let's give them what they want. Let's head into week 14. Let's start off with the Thursday night game
All right.
because we kind of we can break this down a little bit here. Uh, Rams over the Patriots 5.5. Um, my immediate lean right now is the Patriots, only because listen, as great as Sean McVay can be as a coach, did you see what Bill Belichick did to Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler and the Chargers last week? I'm having a real hard time thinking that that Sean McVay is the guy who can outcoach against Bill Belichick.
Yeah, and a couple of things with this. I'm going to look at the Patriots. I want to take a look at just their final scores here from the last month or so here, because if I'm not mistaken, I mean, it feels like, and we're going to go through it here just on this one real quick, and then we'll stop.
Close games.
Exactly. That is the point. So going back to now, look, they had that stretch where they lost a bunch of games in a row and they didn't look good. Remember, they lost to Denver. Like that was a really bad one. But 3-point loss to Buffalo. They beat the Jets. They beat the Ravens. They lost to Houston at the end. They beat Arizona at the end, and they beat the Los Angeles Chargers. So I'm with you on that one. I know we're not going to have a pick on this Thursday, but I absolutely would lean New England. It feels like they're in every game. They don't look great, but they run the ball just enough and control the clock just enough to keep it close, and that would be my guess as to what happens. I think their season does end on Thursday night. I think they may lose, but I do think they keep it close.
Okay, beautiful. All right, let's dive into the games that we definitely want to take. Now, there's, I guess the card has it listed here, so
Sure.
we'll go by the way the card has it
Okay.
listed here. Even though that there's a 125 game that leads it off here, but it's Packers Lions. It's the divisional matchup. That's Packers by 7.5 on the road. You got Titans favored over the Jaguars, who are at home. They're 7.5 point underdogs. Cowboys head to Cincinnati. That's a 3.5 point spread right there. So right off the bat here, we can go 4 and 5 home dogs. Look at that, 5 straight home dogs. The Giants are a 1.5 behind or underneath the Cardinals, and the Bears are a 1 point underdog at home to the Texans. So we do like our home dogs.
We do.
Are there any in this group though that turn you on?
I just want to double check one of the lines here because I feel like I'm really stupid and wouldn't be the first time I've called myself that. I guess I'm not. The Cowboys are 3.5 point favorites at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Based on what? I don't know. But I guess I'd be interested in Cincinnati, I think, there. Let's see what else.
It's the Andy Dalton revenge game. It's the first time he's stepping into Cincinnati.
Yeah. That does play. Yeah, that's true. All right, we'll check back in on that Saturday night. I'm shocked that the Cowboys could be. I cannot believe the Cowboys are more than a 3.5 point road favorite over any team in the NFL. It's just shocking. Jacksonville's kept a lot of the games close. I tend to think that they could do that here also, but the Titans are due for one of those really big, shocking games. I really don't have I mean, we've been very good on or against the Titans this year. But this game is probably gonna either Jacksonville's gonna shock them and win the game, or they're gonna lose by 40. I really don't have a strong feeling there, and I could only take Green Bay. I could not take Detroit.
I can't take Detroit either. I would definitely take Green Bay. It's kind of funny. My lean is actually the Jaguars. It's kind of interesting. You take a look at last week's matchup between the Vikings and the Jaguars. It's a very similar situation that you've got with the Titans and the Jaguars, because the Titans' pass defense is not strong at all. They do give up decent yardage on the ground as well, so they struggle at defense. They're run heavy. Dalvin Cook rushed for 120 yards on the Jaguars, and yet Mike Glennon still kept everybody in this game. And now he's got a healthier DJ Chark there against again a porous secondary. So I kind of feel like it's scripted in a very similar fashion. So I would lean the Jags here, just with the 7.5 points.
The Jaguars have another receiver, by the way, that's playing really well. I think
Colin Johnson, the
yes,
rookie.
next year we got to circle that guy. I think he's got a chance to be good in the NFL. And speaking of which, the reason why the temptation is there for Jacksonville is one player and one player only. It's James Robinson. That guy, if he gets 30 touches in the game, he averages 4 or 5 yards a carry every time he gets the ball. He did the same thing last week against Minnesota. He is really good. And they lean on him, and that keeps the game close. So that's the positive. The negative is in watching the game against Minnesota, Howard, I saw Glennon start to go the other way. He threw a couple picks and some. I don't know. I'm a little worried that one game that he had a couple of weeks ago was like the Luton game. But we'll check back in on Saturday night. And yeah, I guess for me, I'm just very surprised that the Cowboys could be that big a favorite. I mean, if I was closing my eyes and making the line, I would have thought pick them. But wow, they're 3.5 on the road based on what? I have no idea. That's just crazy. So.
What about any thoughts on Giants or Giants against the Cardinals, and then Bears against the Texans?
I don't like the Cardinals. I think they may lose every game the rest of the year, but I expected them to be a bigger favorite in this. So my fear is that it's such a Cardinals are also in every game at the end too. That's another dynamic there too. Not yet. Nothing on that one. Wow, a lot of close spreads.
A ton of them.
I mean, man, I don't think we'll have any pick on Houston, Chicago.
No, wow. Me neither.
I don't think so.
All right, next set of games. Panthers are a home favorite by 3 against the Broncos. Bucks are a home favorite 6.5 over the Vikings. The Chiefs. They're a road favorite, though, against the Miami Dolphins. Any of those do you like?
Well, I think that the Panthers have a lot of coaching advantages in this game. I love the way that they play offense, and I love the way that they're coached on both sides. And I would think the opposite about Denver. And I think that Denver played themselves into that game on Monday night. I suppose, Howard, if I told you Kansas City 2 weeks ago, Denver looked like the worst team of all time with Hinton at quarterback. Okay, so go from that to Monday night. If I tell you Kansas City wins 31-10, what is Carolina favored in this game by? More than 3, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right. So why are we living off that one game on Monday night? The Raiders beat Kansas City in Kansas City on Monday night. So I like Carolina.
I like Carolina too. I'm glad that you do like them. Listen, I will say though, we're gonna have to wait and see on the COVID status of both Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore. Both those dudes are on the COVID reserve list. So I don't know if Samuel is eligible to come back, but I know that DJ Moore should be eligible to come back for that game.
Yeah, McCaffrey's a non-factor at this point. They've played well without him, but you're absolutely right. And if you're betting the Panthers, yeah, I mean that's going to be one dynamic that we're going to have to get to is check Saturday night stuff because the last thing we want to do is wake up Sunday morning and hear Bridgewater's out, right? That would be the other guy played okay, right? But I wouldn't take Carolina laying points with that other quarterback. I wouldn't do that.
No.
Tampa Bay, 2 Jekyll and Hyde for me. I'll pass.
Okay. And does that vaunted Dolphins defense keep them in the game? Or is Mahomes just whoop them? Although Tyreek Hill did not practice today. We're going to have to check on his status as well.
Yeah, I don't like going against Kansas City and I'd have to go back the last 2 years, but and I'll do that before Saturday. My guess is the Chiefs off a non-cover cover a very high percentage of the time the next time out. That would be my fear with taking Miami there.
We could definitely look into that, no doubt about it. All right, couple of more games here. You know how much I love the Colts. They're a 3-point favorite on the road against the Raiders. You got the Seahawks, the big home favorites against the Jets, 13.5. I can't believe it's only 13.5 because of the way the way the Seahawks have been playing the last couple of games. They lose to the Giants. They're running more. Russell Wilson hasn't looked great. To me, this is the get right game. To me, this is actually like I won't bet this one, but I feel like Seattle's just going to throttle the Jets.
It could be. I could not take the Jets. I could not do it. It would be Seattle or nothing for me. This Colts Raiders game is tough to call. The Raiders have now gone back to where they were last year, where you do not know who they are because let's be real, they should have lost to the Jets. That'd be back-to-back bad losses for them against Atlanta and New York. So Indianapolis, by the way, should have lost the game to Houston. Watson fumbled on the one, so please pass for now on that game for me. I don't know. That's tough. That's a tough one.
Moving right along. Chargers, home underdogs by 2.5 points to the Falcons. Eagles with your boy, your baby boy, Jalen Hurts under center. He walks in as a home dog by 7 points to the Saints. What are you doing here? Are you taking your boy Jalen Hurts? Are you going with the Chargers and taking the points?
This is a unbelievable spot for the Chargers, Howard. This is the spot. This is it. If you're going to take them, this is the week.
You got to do it.
Coming off an utter embarrassment, and teams do very well off that. Historically, this is when it happens. I'll tell you this, Howard, could any team have been embarrassed more than Detroit was on Thanksgiving? They go to Chicago and win. That's anecdotal. Go back and look at history. Right. When teams get blown out, they are more focused. They do play well the next week. You have Atlanta, who shouldn't be favored really over anybody, honestly, going across the country as a favorite, and a team that's record is only, I think, one or two games. One game may be better than the Chargers. I don't know. I may think the Chargers have a bounce back this week. I mean, I love taking the team that looks like the ugliest one on the board, and this one definitely does. So, boy, I wish this was 3. If this was 3, it'd be a done deal. I would definitely take the Chargers there. No, rookie quarterback first time out. I don't think we've gotten involved in any of those. Usually we stay away. So, I think Jalen will play well, but this could. I don't know who's playing quarterback for the Saints. Do we know that?
It's going to be Taysom Hill again. Yeah,
it is. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. No real opinion.
Yeah, my concern on the whole Eagles thing, whether it's Hurts or whether it's Wentz, it's still a garbage offensive line, and that's the problem that I have. Like, I know that Wentz is Hurts is more mobile and he can roll out, and they'll probably design more rollouts for him, but they can't keep the pressure off. They really can't. I mean, Wentz is the most sacked quarterback in the NFL, and as far as hurries and hits and all that stuff, so I definitely worry about that. Last game on the day slate, 49ers are a road. They're at home. They're in Arizona. It's in Arizona again. Yeah. Hence no asterisk here for the Super Contest, but. It's Washington traveling cross country, coming off of, without a doubt, the biggest win of their season, right? As a 3-point dog here. Something tells me we're going to end up taking the Niners, who looked absolutely putrid against the Bills.
I don't know. I feel like this is a trend. I feel like it's just like Washington could just win every game. Like, they could just start winning now. I could see that. So... I think that game against Buffalo for San Francisco was like the last gasp, like for them to get back into it. And I don't know what their motivation is at this point. The Redskins, the football team is very highly motivated. So I would lean Washington here. I really would. I think that they can win a lot of games. I feel better about Washington than they do about the Giants. I know people are surprised about that, but I don't know why. I think Washington could be better.
All right. Well, listen, I'm not against them. I'm not. Although not having Antonio Gibson now because he's got turf toe, that kind of changes the dynamic of the running game. And we'll have to see what Robert Saleh has in store on defense. The last time that the 49ers looked as bad as they looked, and they looked really bad. Like, they looked as bad on Monday night, even despite the fact that they scored 24 points. They should not have scored that last touchdown there. But like, the last time there was when Miami came to San Francisco and whooped them. Like, absolutely just whooped them. They turned around, they beat the Rams, and they beat the Patriots. They crushed the Patriots the next 2 games. So,
yeah,
they bounced back.
Yeah, the lessons from that stuff is again, like, what is the theory behind that, behind San Francisco and the Rams? There's only one thing. It's division. And when the teams know each other, it's kind of like, those games tend to go wacky. So anyway, I don't really have a strong opinion on that one. But
Okay.
the Bills finally took an L on the Bills for the first time in like 2 years. So now that
And the
finally
Steelers.
right. But the Bills, you've been like knocking all their picks out all year long. So like with the Steelers, we've just been taking and they've been winning. But you've been the Bills whisperer. So you want to take a stab at this one? This is a tough one.
Right. Bills Steelers. Bills a 2.5-point favorite. That's a tough one. I thought that game was getting flexed out.
No,
Well, I
no,
have
it's
to wait and
next
see.
week. Next
Oh,
week.
that's next week. That's right. Week 15, they already flexed that game out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because I think it was the Jets on Sunday night. Something stupid
It
like
was
that.
Dallas, San Francisco, and now it's Browns, Giants.
Dallas, the Jets, aren't they the same at this
They're
point
all
right now?
Dallas is a favorite this week. Wow. Yeah, I love Pittsburgh as an underdog. That's the way I would look at it. I know that they're taking a lot of heat. They're not playing well. They haven't beat anybody. Yes, I get all those things, but in the end, I would lean Pittsburgh plus the points. I don't know why 2 weeks in a row they've been giving up points like they did in that crappy game against Baltimore, and then again I don't know, like their second halves have been horrible, and they look like they're unbelievable in the first half, but nothing from me on that. And then Monday night we have Baltimore going to Cleveland, and Baltimore is a favorite. Still not a strong belief, I suppose, in Cleveland. And I mean, man, if the crowd was there, Howard, this would be a monster game. That's the shame about that Monday night game.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Now, I mean, kind of interesting, when you look at what last night's game was, the matchup with Dallas and the Ravens. I was actually surprised to see Zeke kind of pulling off some chunk yardage there on a few runs, knowing what Dallas's offensive line looks like. So all of a sudden now, like all of a sudden my ears perk up when I'm like, ooh, Nick Chubb, zone blocking scheme, phenomenal offensive line. What's he going to do against the Ravens? But, one of the funny things is, and I guess that this is something that we're going to be learning about this year, is that the Ravens and the Steelers are two teams who have just been wildly thrown off their schedule because of the COVID and the postponement and the way everything was and shifted around, that this is the first, like, this will be like a normal week for them. The Ravens, they don't, they go from Tuesday night to Monday night. So that's, not really that far off from going from like a Sunday to a Sunday for them. And then you've got the Steelers, who are the night game, and they're on like their regular rest right now. So I guess that's what we're going to have to kind of watch for, is really, if everybody's healthy and everybody's good to go, do the Ravens come out and remind everybody that they're actually a lot better than what their record says?
And our record is what it is on Monday night, so the odds of us picking this game are 0. I mean, we just have to be honest with ourselves.
Said.
We have not hit any of these games all year, and we're doing very well. But our games, when the sun goes down, our record is not good. It is not good. So we're going to stick with what we know. I don't mind Sunday night, but Monday night, no.
All right. Well, listen, we said it before. We said it 2 weeks ago. We're like, when we went 1-4, and we were like, all right, we're going back to just the 1 p.m. games, and we took 4 1 p.m. games and one 4 p.m. and we went 4-1. So maybe this is what we got to do. We just early in the day.
Maybe so. So what are we leaning on today as we wrap it up here? What would you?
I think
what do you think our leans are?
I think we said Packers or nobody.
That's right.
Right. I think our leans are
Carolina,
Panthers, if no COVID.
Yep.
I think our leans were, it was Seattle or nothing.
I'll have to convince you by Sunday on the Chargers. I know it'll be a few texts, a few calls.
You don't have to convince me. I'll do it, man.
I'm not there yet.
Did you see Justin Herbert's post-game presser?
I did not.
It was like he like, well, first of all, he looks like he's like a 6-year-old, right? Okay, and it looked like somebody stole that 6-year-old's puppy, and he was just staring there, and I was just like, wow, I've never seen somebody look so sad in my life, and like really just not even hiding it either. He was like, he was answering all the questions, but he just looked so upset. I'll lean Chargers, man. I got no problem leaning Chargers.
if you go back historically with football, the one team that comes to mind that goes against the theory that I'm talking about is the old Buccaneers teams. When the Buccaneers were called the Yuccaneers and they were wearing the other uniforms, they had about a 3 or 4 year period where they came into the league and lost like every game. They were 1-15, 2-14, 3-13 for a long time. This kept going until I think Sam Wyche got there and then Tony Dungy was there. That's when I was covering the team in Tampa. But those teams did lose 52 to nothing, 45 to nothing, 31 to like over and over again. Before you poo-poo on the Chargers, go take a look. Teams don't get destroyed 2 weeks in a row in the NFL. They just don't. It doesn't happen like that. You have to put the blinders on the week before. And I'm not saying the Chargers are good. I would never take the Chargers as a favorite. We've talked about the 6 weeks in a row. Like you and I Saturday were like, why did we not take New England? This is all we talked about. They're gonna get killed, and they did. But look, 3 special teams touchdowns. You know that's gonna change. That's luck.
Sure.
That's gonna change. I know their special teams is bad. I understand that, but 3 in one game, stop. It's gonna go the other way. There's gonna be none or one at the most. And the Falcons, they're one game better than the Chargers in the standings, and they're 2.5 point favorites.
They don't look good while they're playing. You know, Julio, he's in and out. Like again, Julio came out of last week's game. Like he's definitely dealing with this hamstring issue. Todd Gurley, dude, like somebody needs to like replace the tennis balls on that dude's walker. I mean, it's ridiculous. He looks terrible.
His career's over. Yeah, his career's over. Yeah, no, I mean, look, he may get a job next year in the NFL, but I mean, I've talked about this a lot on my shows that anybody that can't play in the Super Bowl, and that's no disrespect to Todd Gurley, who for a 2 or 3 year period was the best back in the NFL. He couldn't play in the Super Bowl, Howard. Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, if you didn't know that the end was coming at that point. I feel the same way about David Johnson to a degree too, although he keeps scoring. But look, sometimes with betting, I like to go with the team when they're at their lowest point. This is it for the Chargers. This is it. A home dog against a team that is really not better than them. I'm sorry, they are really not. The Chargers gave away games this year. They can still give this game away to the Falcons. We still can win. And this dude coaching the Falcons loves to kick field goals. You know the Chargers are going to be in this at the end of the game. It's going to happen.
This just in, since 2017, Atlanta 14-22 as a favorite against the spread. Chargers 14-10-3 as an underdog.
Love the Chargers as a dog, and as a favorite, I would never take them.
Never.
And I think Herbert's going to light up Atlanta. I do. I think they are going to bounce right back this week, and we're going to and just like Detroit is the great example from Thanksgiving. Who could have possibly thought Detroit was going to go to Chicago and smash them in the face and score that, and Stafford's going to throw for 400 yards? As bad as Chicago was, it's the NFL. You forget the previous week, you move on to the next. You look at the lines. That's it. You just take the advantage on the lines. That's all it is. It's not about who's a running back and who's a receiver and who's a this. They're giving you a point spread. You got to analyze the point spread. That's what we do.
That is what we do. So there you go, guys. Those are our leans for right now. Okay, it's Wednesday. On Friday, Craig and I will be on Sports Grid together, and we'll be talking about, we'll look for some of the line movement. Maybe we'll talk about some value that we may or may not be getting in comparing those point spreads. And then Saturday, right here again, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the Wager Alarm live stream, Craig and I will make our final picks for Week 14 and get that money, man. Get that cash line going. 2 games off the cash line right now. 2. That's it.
Should be there now, honestly. Should be there now. But
well, I told you not to take the Steelers last week, and I told you not to take the Bills, the Niners. You never listen to me, Greg.
You know what? I liked all the picks going in. I don't feel. I gotta say, as we wrap up, I don't feel as bad and as intimidated as I did before we started this. I thought we were going to come out of this not having any leans, but I feel like we have a couple, and it's a good place to start.
Yeah. No doubt. All right. That's going to do it for us here tonight. Big thanks to Matt Sells, our producer. For Craig Mish, I'm Howard Bender. This has been the Wager Alarm live stream. We'll catch you next time.